everybody. Check. This is Mike Chef.
Good morning, everyone. Buenos dias. My name is Thelma Navarro. I'm a researcher and policy advocate with the Center on Policy Initiatives and part of the Education Justice Coalition who's hosting this beautiful event today. The Education Justice Coalition is a group of community-based organizations and labor organizations such as the San Diego Education Association, your beautiful teachers. We're a group of individuals that are just very passionate about having equitable access to an education. We believe that all of our schools need to be community-centered, anti-racist, and a sphere where decision-making is shared across not only administrators and teachers, but also parents, family members, and community members. We're here because all of our fights are very deeply interconnected, and we believe that community liberation and community safety needs all of our support and the abolishing of ICE. I grew up as an undocumented kid in the Inland Empire. So this year is nothing new, and 20 years later, I'm still always afraid of my community being torn apart. Documentation or not, and no matter who is in the White House, terrorizing our communities is something that this country has always been damn good at. Being here and being part of this fight and surrounded by so many compassionate individuals is really what gives all of us hope. We're up against billionaires that are profiting off the terror that we are seeing across all of this country and really across the entire world. These are the billionaires that are profiting off carceral and immigration detention systems and also the surveilling of all of our neighborhoods. These are also the same billionaires that want to privatize and control our education system and rewrite history. All of this while they're making it more and more difficult for parents and children to feel safe dropping their children off at school, and making it more and more difficult for children to concentrate at schools. Rather than them being able to concentrate on their classrooms, on their classwork, on their friends, they have to worry about whether when they get home, if their parents are going to be kidnapped and no longer being in their place to be able to take care of them. Our community being terrorized, as I mentioned, is nothing new. State violence is a deep-rooted crisis that needs to be abolished, and we need to make sure that abolishing actually does happen instead of just going back to the status quo. I'd like us to take a moment of silence, please, to all of the lives lost just in 2026. We have Luis Gustavo Núñez Cáceres, Geraldo Lunas Campos, Víctor Manuel Díaz, Paradila, Renee Nicole Good, Luis Beltrán Yáñez Cruz, Ever Sanchez Dominguez, and Alex Preti. Keith Porter was also a life lost in 2025. These are only the lives that have been lost this year. And also these are only the lives that have been lost that we are made aware of. And this does not take into consideration all of the many lives that are actually being unaccounted for. Remember that abolishing of ICE also means the ending of carceral system and also surveillance state. So we're here to make sure that our demands need to be heard and for us to be able to continue growing our community support. So what do we want? What do we want? What do we want? Thank you, everyone. I'd like to welcome Janika, and she's going to be doing our land acknowledgement.
Alka Mimi Yu Taminyawe. I'm a member of the Viejas band of the Kumeyaay Nation. We respectfully acknowledge that the land within these areas sustained the life of the Kumeyaay people and maintained a symbiotic relationship since the beginning. The Kumeyaay Nation has inhabited this land from time immemorial, long before colonization and before borders existed. The Kumeyaay people occupied this land as far south as Ensenada, north to Palomar Mountain, and east to the Salton Sea. Despite the efforts of colonization and genocide, the Kumeyaay people still remain resilient and practice their long-standing traditions through language, bird songs, bird dancing, and even host social events such as annual gatherings. The Kumeyaay Nation has maintained a stewardship of the land through traditional practices and a high respect for Mother Earth. We must pay respect and commit to honor the past, present, and future of the Kumeyaay Nation for their caretaking and protection of this land. I ask that you go to Barrera Reservation or Cipriano Reservation to their cultural center and just research and see what you can do. Thank you so much.
Next up, I'd like us to welcome Reverend Cheri. She's the Executive Director and co-founder of Interfaith Worker Justice, an amazing community partner, and also an amazing advocate of education and worker justice.
Thank you all for being here. I am here today because my faith requires me to demand justice for the most vulnerable. The widow, the orphan, aka women and children, and the stranger, the foreigner, the alien, the sojourner, the immigrant among us. This is what my scriptures teach me, and so I am here. I am here because all faiths, all religions believe in justice. I am here because I advocate for workers, which includes our teachers, our paraeducators, our food service workers, our maintenance workers, our administrative staff, and everyone who makes a safe environment for our children to learn. Every child is our child. California law requires that all children get a free education, not just free of cost or payment, but free of fear, free of intimidation, free of chaos, so they may learn and grow into their best possible selves and be productive members of societies just as the adults and their families are. Regardless of your faith tradition or no faith tradition, some of you may be familiar with the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, right? Well, guess what? The sins of Sodom and Gomorrah had nothing to do with homosexuality. I know that might be frightening, but it had to do with surplus and surfeit. They had so much, they were hoarding it and not sharing, and they were inhospitable to those who came from different lands into their lands. Our nation is guilty of this sin. Some of you may also be familiar with a story from my faith tradition of Christianity, from the book of Matthew, chapter 19, where it says, "Let the children come unto me." Jesus said this when their parents were trying to bring them to him for a blessing, to say, hey, you matter. And his disciples were like, no, don't bother him, don't bother him. So the gatekeepers were the ones who were scolded. The gatekeepers, the one who said, no, they don't matter, are the ones who were scolded by Jesus. And so I have been asked here today to say a prayer. But instead I want to give you a blessing that was actually written by Franciscan benediction, my sister Ruth Marlene Fox. May God bless you with discomfort at easy answers, half-truths, and superficial relationships, so that you may live deep within your heart. May God bless you with anger at injustice, oppression, and exploitation of people, so that you may work for justice, freedom, and peace. May God bless you with tears to shed for those who suffer in pain, rejection, hunger, and war, so that you may reach out your hand and comfort them and turn their pain into joy. And may God bless you with enough foolishness to believe that you can make a difference in the world, so that you can do what others claim cannot be done, to bring justice and kindness to all our children and the poor. Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend. Next up, I'd like us to welcome Richard Barrera. He's a San Diego Unified School District board member and a strong advocate for education access and equitable access to resources for students as well.
Thank you, Thelma. And thank you, Education Justice Coalition, for focusing today on what's happening with our students and families in our public schools. Let me just ask, who here is a product of our public schools here in California, right? And who here belongs to an immigrant family? Well, that's because we are California. So in California, half of the 6 million students in our state are part of an immigrant family. 20% of our students are part of a mixed status family. And so it's no surprise that Donald Trump and his federal government would be attacking our public schools and be attacking our students, because if your mission in life is to strengthen the racist structures that protect your own privilege, of course you're going to come after our public school students, because they're the ones who are going to challenge those racist structures and make this a more equal society, more equitable society. So the fact that you're all here today standing up for our students, our families, is a powerful message, not just to Donald Trump, but more importantly, to the young people in our community, that we stand together and we will make sure that young people actually will realize the potential of defeating these racist structures and making a better society for all of us going forward in the future. But I can tell you, as a representative of public schools, we have to have this kind of partnership with the community. So we had a webinar at the California Department of Education yesterday where we had 600 school district administrators, principals, people from up and down the state. And the focus was, we've got policies in place to keep ICE off of our school campuses, but what happens when our parents are coming to and from school, drop off and pick up? What happens with parents who say, I don't feel okay having my kids even walk to school or even get on the school bus? We as a community need to wrap our arms around our students and families in partnership with our schools, and that's the next stage, for our public education system. It's to create those partnerships with you, with our community organizations, so that young people are able to get to school safely, realize their potential, and fight back. And finally, ICE. So the federal government, thank you. The federal government is responsible for funding special education. That's one of their primary responsibilities in terms of education. Federal government always underfunds their obligation. They're supposed to fund 40% of the cost of special education. Today they fund about 7% of the cost, right? And they always say, well, yeah, but we don't have the money. They're spending 10 times the amount they spend on special education on this ramped up terror campaign through ICE. It is time to abolish ICE and put that money back into our public school system. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for standing up for our students.
Richard, that was a beautiful speech. And thank you for your ongoing advocacy. We really appreciate it. Next up, I'd like to introduce to you Nereida Rivera. She's a Bell Middle School Wellness Coordinator, so she's been really in the forefront of all of this, supporting our students and through all of the crises that have happened as this terror continues in our community. Thank you, Nereida.
Thank you. We're living through a moment where the safety of our student is not just an educational issue, it's a human one. When immigration enforcement actions sweep through our communities, they do more than disrupt homes, they break the sense of security that every child needs in order to learn, grow, and simply exist without fear. And today, with nearly every student carrying a phone, the brutality and disregard for human life displayed in some of these ICE encounters is not something they hear about secondhand. They're watching it, replaying it, absorbing it. This is the anxious generation, and we are seeing the impact every day in our schools. Anxiety is rising, the violence is rising in our schools. Racial slurs are more common, and this is not isolated to just Bell. This is everywhere right now. The suicide attempts are happening. The completions are on the rise. Fear shows up in the classroom as silence. Our students that once couldn't focus on math, now they're worried because their parents are going to court dates that they don't know if they're going to return. They can't have a peaceful walk home. Now they can come in. I do work in the wellness center where they can come in for a calming space, where they can speak to me, where they can get resources, clothing, food, basic needs, where I can direct them to whatever referrals inside and outside of the district. But many of our students are now living in fear, and now they're having to say goodbye to their friends and start a new life. They don't know what it's like to live in Mexico. They only know living here. Preparing to start over, carrying uncertainty far too heavy for their age. But this is why the wellness centers matter. We're underfunded. But my role is to educate and inform my families, to tell them this is time for you to know your rights. This is time for you to know that you have a village. And I want you guys all to know that there is a law called the McKinney-Vento Act. For all of those minors that might end up where their parents are deported, under law, they have the right to an education. They still can come to school. So everybody please remember that, the McKinney-Vento Act. These supports are not only for students, when we have wellness centers, these supports are not only for students, but for they're for the administrators, they're for the counselors, they're for everybody. One of the things that I want to say is that we've been seeing a lot of families leaving because they don't see any hope. And I want you to look around and start seeing that there's a lot of helpers. And start thinking about all the helpers. The wellness centers are here to help. There's a lot of people in San Diego Unified. San Diego Unified is not going to turn away the families. If you want to come to school, you can still come to school. We're here to help. Abolish ICE. We're here. Thank you.
Thank you, Nereida. We really appreciate all of your ongoing work. Next up, I have Cipriano Vargas. He's a Vista Unified School District board member and a strong advocate really all over San Diego County. So he's going to talk about the impact of ICE in North County. Thank you.
How you doing, San Diego? Education, not deportation. Education, not deportation. My name is Cipriano, and I stand here not just with anger, but also with hope. Hope for a better future, hope for a better public schools, hope for a better democracy, because you are out here today demanding that. Now, in our country, in our neighborhood, we're seeing what's happening with ICE. Specifically in North County, we've seen the influx of DHS presence, family separation. And this is, something that we cannot sit back and sit silent and do nothing. Because at the end of the day, children are being torn apart, families are being separated, and that is not normal. That is not what we should be seeing as a norm in our society. For us in North County, we've been mobilizing, we've been calling and making sure that we're reporting what's happening in our community. Rallies are great. Thank you for being here. But in addition to that, making sure that you get trained up, that you join the network, that you see what's happening in our communities, because when a child is deported or when a family is deported, that family that's left behind may not have access to a meal that day. They may not have access to pay the rent the next month. They may not have access to get the medication for their mother that may be diagnosed with the illness. And so with that, demanding that we have change at the federal level, and that starts with everyone here today. Now, last November, Congress passed the big, beautiful bill. It sent $160 billion to DHS for deportation and for more detention sites, things that fundamentally do not work. If you were to divide that by the 50 million students in America, every school will get about $3,100. It shouldn't be that way. We saw in the pandemic the biggest influx into public education, over $190 billion. There is money out there to fund public education. There's money out there to make sure that we have adequate staffing when it comes to counselors. There's enough money out there to make sure that we have public transportation for our children. There is enough money out there to make sure our families have stable housing. Now, we know that throughout history, whenever we have great change in our democracy, civil victory wins. It does not happen because people sit back and stay silent. It happens because of each and every one of you who are here today. So on behalf of, our friends up in North County, thank you for being loud. Thank you for demanding accountability. Thank you for demanding transparency, because what's happening right now is not normal. And we must stand up. We must speak up. Thank you, San Diego. ICE out of San Diego.
Thank you, Cipriano. Next up, we have a student speaker. He's a student at the University of California, San Diego. He's a student at the University of California, San Diego. So please help me welcome Cristian Fuentes.
Hi everybody, my name is Cristian Fuentes, and I'm a master's student at UCSD. And we're all here because we know that atrocities ICE is committing, right? So, ICE out of San Diego, right? So, they're under the argument and they are protecting our communities. They're under the argument that, they're kicking the criminals out of San Diego, right? Of California, right? However, that is not true. They are terrorizing our communities, right? I'll give you with some statistics. More than half of the people that are being arrested have no criminal record. More than half, right? So, in reality, they're not really kicking out the criminals. They're terrorizing our families. They're terrorizing your neighbors. They're terrorizing your parents, your uncles, your community members, your students, my classmates, So, yeah, it is such an atrocity that we're spending our money on that. $85 billion, that is the money that we are giving to ICE. $85 billion, that's probably a lot of money. Yeah, shame. Right? Imagine what we can do with $85 billion. Who would like to have $85 billion? Probably me, right? That's a lot of money. This is happening at the same time that in the United States, 23% of undergraduate students are food insecure. That means they don't have food on their plate. 23%. So almost 1 out of every 4 students doesn't have food to eat. Shame. We are funding these domestic terrorists instead of investing in our college students, where 8% of undergraduates and 4.6% of graduate students are experiencing homelessness. Shame, yes. 42.8 million students are still paying their student loans. I don't know anybody, I'm still paying my student loans. Imagine what you can do with those billions of dollars. But instead, we're wasting it in terrorizing our communities, right? So, shame. I want you to think how many lives we can possibly impact with those $85 billion. I'm also a teaching assistant, and we are trying to get a better pay. We might go on strike. Imagine if the government actually used that money to fund educators like me, right? Not only like me, but all the educators, right? Imagine all the people that you can impact with $85 billion, right? So shame to the federal government. So I want to leave you with one last message. We are not hopeless. I know it looks like we are hopeless because of all the horrible things that is going on in social media, you know. But we are here. You chose to come here because you believe that we can make a change. So take some time to, thank yourself for coming here. But also, this is not the last thing you should be doing. Yes, it's glad you're coming here, but organize, They want you to have fear. They want you to be shocked. But I recommend you to look for an opportunity to get involved. If you are a worker, join your union and try to push through your unions. Go union power. If you're a student, Metier is also a very good organization. There is so many student organizations. Go protest, go organize. And for example, I am in ACE. So if you're a renter, I recommend you to join ACE. And that's how we can push for more change. So thank you so much. And chinga la migra. Chinga la migra. So one last thing, if you are interested,
Thank you, Cristian. So, as Cristian mentioned, he's also a member of ACE. I just wanted to come up here and ask a quick question. Raise your hand if you are part of an organization. Okay, so a lot of you. Raise your hand if you're not part of an organization. So there's still a good amount of people here, right, who you're coming out to these actions, maybe even every single week, but maybe you're looking for a way to get more involved. And I believe it was Kumeyaay who has this really famous speech where he talks about the difference between organizing and mobilizing. So what we're doing right now is called mobilizing. We're taking action, we're having a protest, we're bringing attention to an issue, right? But organizing leads to mobilizing, but mobilizing in itself is not organizing. Organizing is actually about building relationships, building power in your community, and building lasting structures to where that power that these people in the federal government have, that our bosses have, that the people who are raising our rents have, that power is actually matched now by the people power that we are building every single day, right? So I just wanted to come up here and say, if you are not in an organization, now is the time to go beyond mobilizing. Now is the time to get organized. We need to be knocking on doors. We need to be talking to our neighbors. We can't just be talking to each other, right? We need to be talking to that person who lives next door to you, who their number one issue is that they're worried about the cracks in the streets and how they're getting potholes, or how they're popping their tires every time they go over a pothole, right? And we need to be able to talk to them and say, that pothole that's not getting fixed in the street is actually connected to the same neglect from our government of our working class communities of color as them funding the ICE terrorizing our neighborhoods, right? So we need to be helping people understand what's the root issue here. The root issue is that this quote unquote democracy that we live in is not really quite a democracy. It's not a democracy unless the many have the power and not the few, right? And if we want the many to have power, that means we need to build that power. So ACE is actually not just an organization for renters. It's a multi-issue organization. It's like a union for the community. And ACE is like having a organizing personal trainer almost, who's gonna help you take whatever issue it is that's affecting people in your neighborhood and help them understand what's the root there and how can we actually build power and get organized to fight, not only to fix the pothole, not only to stop the rent from getting raised, but actually so that we can fight so that working class people like us have real voice in our society and real decision-making abilities in our society, right? So ACE has this program, because a lot of you might think, oh, I can only be an ACE member if I live in an area like National City or San Isidro that has a chapter, because we have some bomb-ass chapters in National City and San Isidro. And Cristian is part of our San Isidro chapter, and I'm the National City organizer. But we actually have a new thing at ACE called ACE Rise Up, which is for people who don't actually have to live in a neighborhood where you have an on-the-ground organizer knocking on doors and helping you form, a neighborhood group, right? You can actually live in PB, you can live in Mira Mesa, you can live in Paradise Hills, you can live in La Jolla even. Shoot, if you live in La Jolla, why not organize there too? And when you join ACE Rise Up, you're going to be having actually statewide badass organizers that are going to work with you one-on-one to develop your leadership so that you can start organizing in your community. And we can all think of ourselves, right, as like seeds. We want to plant ourselves like seeds in the ground in our neighborhood and watch the movement grow. But it starts with us. It starts with you planting yourself firmly in your neighborhood and saying it's time to make a change. So all those people who raised their hand and said that they're not part of an organization, I want you to raise your hand again. And all the people wearing yellow ACE t-shirts, I want you to raise your hand too. And I want y'all to look at each other. And if you are not part of an organization, find someone with a yellow t-shirt and join ACE. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And ACE is also part of the Education Justice Coalition. So if you'd like to keep up to date with the Education Justice Coalition and get involved as well, please go ahead and sign our pledge. They are the people raising their hands right back here. And you'll keep up with all of our actions. Next up, we have Marianne Belmontes. She's a union teacher from Lincoln High School.
Cristian and Isa, thank you for reminding everybody to be organized. Yes, I am an organizer. I've been an organizer, and I continue to be an organizer with SDEA as an Unión del Barrio member. And also, I'm a community member. I'm a Lincoln teacher. I'm a Metro advisor. Yes, I do all that. So can you? So join an organization. But what am I here for today is as an educator, it is my obligation, my duty to protect my students. And I call on all educators, all community members to protect our students, our communities, our parents who are every day terrorized by these ICE raids, by these ICE migra attacking us and our communities. We have seen in our communities how our students are being attacked by having ICE pick up parents around our schools, as they did at Montgomery Middle School in Linda Vista, how they set up their staging at Ibarra Elementary, how they take our parents on a daily basis. Just last week, we had a parent be taken by ICE. And as a Lincoln teacher, we have organized on our campuses to make sure that our parents and our communities and our students are being protected. We are creating community patrols, teacher patrols, doing them in our campuses. Yes, we need to do that. We need to organize. We need to demand that ICE get abolished, ICE out of our communities, ICE off our campuses, ICE out of our schools. On the same line, we are here as SCA members because we are going on strike. We're going on strike on February 26th. And we call upon all of you, community, parents, to also be on the line with us, to come strike with us, because we are striking to get what our special education students deserve, the teachers and the support that they need. So come with us on February 26th. We ask that you all come and support our teachers, support our community, support our students. Like the phrase says, La unión hace la fuerza, united we are stronger. We demand ICE out of our schools and our communities. Thank you.
Welcome Teddy. She just came from Minnesota and she wants to talk about all of the terrors that's going on in her home state.
thanks. I literally just got off the airport and it like landed in your protest. So I want to let you know everything you're seeing in Minnesota is much worse than what you're actually seeing on the news. There are parents being abducted, and I know like Alex Preddy and all of the other killings, like they're horrible, but more than anything, it's the fear that's happening to our fabulous community. We are being super hyper local, trying to get rent assistance and groceries, and we are organizing like you've never seen. I hope you've all seen kind of the Minnesota nice that's come out in us. It's really important. We would love your help. There's only so much we can do to keep people safe, and so hearing it from the rest of the country makes a big difference. From the rest of the world, we're getting donations from everywhere. I gave my contact information to someone over there. If anyone wants to be connected to like hyper local, like legit fundraising opportunities to give rent and groceries to people in Minnesota, we would take it. This is not okay. We need to fight for our First, for our Fourth, for our Second Amendment rights, all of them. And it's something that we need to do as a country. So I just thank you all for being here and for supporting Minnesota, because this is horrible. And I know you have felt it before, and you will probably feel it again. And we're all in this together. So thank you.
Thank you, Teddy. Next up, I have Graciela. She's with the California Nurses Association, and she wants to share about an action that's coming up soon.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Graciela. I organized in San Diego for 11 years. Now I'm in Long Beach, but San Diego is always going to be home. I wanted to come and talk to you all about what the California Nurses Association, NNU, is doing to fight back against these HR 1 cuts that are happening. As we've heard, President Trump and the Republicans have supercharged the country's healthcare crisis with their devastating federal budget, HR 1. And the healthcare of 72 million Americans is under threat. Exactly, Shane. As part of our efforts to fight back against this cruelty and violence, NNU nurses, 2 weekends ago, we launched a Red Alert bus tour in Glendale, and we're coming to Oceanside next, Tri-City Care Hospital. It's one of the hospitals that is on the list of hospitals that are under risk of closure or having units closed. And folks from North County who are here, you all know Tri-City is one of those hospitals that's really important to the community. So please join us on February 21st. It'll be a family-friendly event. We'll have a free clinic for folks, tacos, a children's book, reading of, we just launched a children's book called Metier Saves the Hospital, and local leaders and community partners speak too. So if you're interested, I'd love to connect. I'd be on this side of the... What time? It'll start at 11 a.m. and it'll go until 3 p.m. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. I'd love to see all of these community actions come together. Next up, I want to introduce you to Biggs. He's our performer for the day, and he is San Diego born and raised, an incredible advocate, and a very just amazing individual. So please.
Mic check. Hey, when I say 6'1", you say 9. 6'1", 6'1". When I say 6'1", you say 9. 6'1", 6'1". Okay. My name is Biggs with 3 B's, 2 G's, 1 Z, and I'm in the middle. If you didn't hear, if you don't know, now you know. If you didn't hear about what happened on January 23rd of this year, Mayor Todd Gloria resigned, and I'm one of the new mayors of San Diego. So, listen. I refuse to let somebody to take money out of my people's pockets and represent them improperly. So we're not gonna let that happen no more. It's time to stand up. It's time to resist, baby, you feel me? I'm gonna give a huge shout out to the Kumeyaay Nation, because without the people, we wouldn't be here, baby. Come on now, look. And then I'm gonna give a huge shout out to Chicano Park, because we've been demonstrating what it looks like not to rely on police. We've been demonstrating what it's like not to rely on the military. We've been demonstrating what it's like to rely on anybody. We rely on our people. So come learn from the people that have been doing it, you feel me? So look, I got a few things to say. I got a performance, I got some words. The biggest thing today, I wanna say, you need to lead with love, and the rest will follow. There's way too much hate going on in the world for us to be angry, for us to harbor that kind of feelings, those kind of emotions. So make sure, you empathize, you sympathize, and you prioritize, conflict resolution, instead of being spiteful. So with that, let me hit y'all with a song. This song's called Boom Bap. It's got a little message that relates to some of the things going on. It addresses the colonial society that we live under, and you know, a whole lot of brown pride, baby. So, you got me, bro? Let's get it. Yeah, I appreciate y'all. Look, this is an honor. I appreciate y'all being here. Thank y'all for loving me. Thank y'all. If I wouldn't be here without you, you wouldn't be here without me. We wouldn't be here without each other, baby. You know what I'm talking about? Listen, I said, look. This that boom bad, rat-a-tat, I'm knocking at your bulkhead. Listening to 3 B's, it's like listening to God Red. I'm a reflection, no need for extra weapons, my energy present. Ask my brethren, real family, my ties, not new to settling. Breaking deals with demons in the image of man with no melanin. Listen, what'd he say? I said, breaking deals with demons in the image of man with no melanin, we don't hide. Screaming brown pride, hitting switches in the low, I got my shades on, we stay high, elevated in elaborate demonstrations. Eloquence, I gotta have it, nothing basic. Middle finger to the politicals and the motherfucking racists. Why you so prideful to invade indigenous nations who raise them to practice torture and displacement? You got that right, white, you got white right, so it's yours for the taking? Huh? Why must you treat Mother Earth like you created it? I'm hating it, no biting my tongue. We making bacon bits. Ops getting popped, this rice crispy might need maintenance. Listen. Why must you treat Mother Earth like you created it? I'm hating it, no biting my tongue. We making bacon bits. Ops getting popped, this rice crispy might need maintenance. This Rice Krispie might need. Hey, look here, listen up, baby boy. What you really doing? I've been put on for the city, huh? How you really moving? Big moving behind the scenes. You would've never knew it. We could talk about getting chopped off, but let's not get into it. Of course they got us sawed off, but we don't need to use it. They put in shows on for media. Steady be abusing, pushing positivity. Toxicity really foolish, I love the way we live. Listen, the bitty big influence. White men try to be the right friends to brown men. They talking about not promoting violence. Yeah, I did. The genocide of my people. Says you're lying when it's selective. The history books, they teach you writing their language. It's power, my God. Why'd you silence pens? Destiny manifested today. It's time to try again. Chicano, indigenous, Mexican, before American. Spell it with 3 Ks. Recognize your violent bands. You had to make your moves for freedom at the cost of what? Who will you suppress? Because you're not the one. I do not understand. He would have never won. My people live by the moon. We got it by the sun. Trust in Mother Earth to provide our funds. Make something out of nothing. We are never done. Say it with my chest. Look, I don't condone the cut. Let's talk about it all. This art is not for fun. Who made it out the mud? But still ain't fake the fun. Only the real shall prosper. Better show us love. Keep it original. We pushing stones by the ton. Artificially flavored. They should call you bubblegum. Listen, I'm Mr. Talk to Me Nice, Mr. All of the Above, Mr. Everything You Need. Man, Mr. Southeast, Mr. 619, baby. Man, that was a whole lot. I appreciate you. That track's called Boom Bap. If y'all rock with it, if y'all rock with the message, y'all can find that on all platforms. But I just wrote something this morning too that really spoke to me, all right? This is gonna be a cappella for y'all. I said, ice used to be in your drink. Ice used to crush with your teeth. Ice used to shave and make sweet. Now I shoot you in the street, pop you in your face, no hesitation, don't blink. History repeats itself when you refuse to think. Ice used to be in your drink. Ice used to crush with your teeth. Ice used to shave and make sweet. Now I shoot you in the street, pop you in your face, no hesitation, don't blink. History repeats itself when you refuse to think. It's war, genocide outside. In the media, they've been lying. But we've been accustomed to the suppression of information that they've been hiding. Whether we on horse, on the burro, or in the Porsche, my people riding. Loud, proud, chest out, brown pride. They look up to us when we flying. It's war, genocide outside. In the media, they've been lying. But we've been accustomed to the suppression of information that they've been hiding. Whether we on horse, on the burro, or in the Porsche, my people riding. Loud, proud, chest out, brown pride. They look up to us when we fly. Ice used to be in your drink. Ice used to crush with your teeth. Ice used to shave and make sweet. Now I shoot you in the street, pop you in your face, no hesitation, don't blink. History repeats itself when you refuse to think. Ice used to be in your drink. Ice used to crush with your teeth. Ice used to shave and make sweet. Now ice shoot you in the street, pop you in your face. No hesitation, don't blink. History repeats itself when you refuse to think. I appreciate y'all. Look, my name is Biggs with 3 B's, 2 G's, 1 Z, and I'm in the middle. I appreciate y'all. Like I said, make sure you spread love, don't spread hate, baby. It's about the people. It's not about me, it's not about you. But we're gonna use our voices because everybody's voice matters. We're gonna speak for the people that can't speak. We're gonna sing for the people that can't sing. We're gonna stand up for the people that aren't here no more. People that we cannot do anything for themselves. There's people being murdered, there's children being kidnapped, there's families being torn apart, and there's people watching this shit happen. I don't care how many times you see this on the phone. I don't care how many stories you hear. Until this directly affects you, you'll never know what this shit feels like. So please, I don't care if you relate, I don't care if you can correlate, but you need to understand and we need to organize together because we need each other, baby. It's now or never, so let's get this. I appreciate y'all. We got motion. We're from the city by the ocean, baby. Thank you, I appreciate y'all.
Thank you, Biggs. Thank you all for coming here. I please implore y'all to get connected with an organization. Like they said, look for someone with a yellow shirt if you want to get involved with ACE. And then also, please go ahead and sign our pledge cards. My coworkers right here have the pledge cards. That's how you find out about our actions and any other ways that you can get involved about how to properly fund education and other items that can make education more equitable for our children. Again, thank you all for coming, and I want to just leave y'all out with education, not deportation. 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 Thanks, everyone. Please get involved.
What's up, boss? Welcome to another day in America. That's right.
So, Michelle, you and I were, well, for a while we were both on the Skyline Paradise Hill cruise. Then we